Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Adventures. We've got 3 Prados at the Beechworth Bakery at Hillsville. About to head up the hills and see if we can find some snow. Alright, so we're starting to get into around a bit of white stuff. We're heading along Warburton Woods Point Road towards Mount Matlock. Probably about 20 minutes, half an hour east of Camberville, the junction there. That's where we normally let the tyres down here up. Quite a few potholes around, and we've got fresh ice, snow on the road. Alright, we've moved along about another 5-10 minutes and the road is getting a little bit more covered in snow in some places. Probably only a couple of centimetres at the moment, but it looks like it's been rained on, and yeah, it could be slippery in places. That's why I'm trying to drive on where they've already cut the tracks, because yeah, you can get over here on this stuff. Usually it's alright, but you just never know. You just got to use a lot of caution, or you'll end up over there on the side. Alright, here we are, you know, it's getting more heavy duty. Take a bit more care. We've only got about 5 centimetres of snow, but it's only been driven on a little bit. It can get very slippery in places, so we need to take care coming around corners in case there is someone around. Mate, have a look at this snow spraying off the front, mate. We're working through it. It's almost a low range job. Like certainly no shortage of snow. It's not stopping, it's getting a little bit deeper. There's quite often less used tracks to follow. I think there's probably been a truck or two perhaps, I'm guessing, come down here at some stage, but there's plenty of fluff available if you want to make snowballs out here, or probably get yourself bogged if you're not careful. Okay, so here we are. We just had to clear a tree off the road. We cut that with a reciprocating saw. Not a massive one, but we could have probably driven over it, but it was a little bit elevated. So be prepared. Alright, we just turned off at Mount Matlock and we're just heading up the hill. This bit here can be a bit dodgy and slippery, so you need to keep some momentum sometimes. Tyre pressure needs to be set no more than about 25 psi, but no problem at the moment. There's not a stupid amount of snow up here, so you can come up, no dramas. Just letting the other guys know to hold up a bit there, because just on that little bit of a hill, one other year we came up, probably had a lot more snow, a foot or two of snow, and it was packed and you weren't getting to the ground, so you were just slipping out on all the snow and whatever. So happy days. You can see there's no track up here, nobody's been up here probably today. So we are trying to work out if the track's on the left or the right or whatever, and cutting the track for everybody else to follow. Everybody else being 2 cars, but I'll tell you what, it's a bit more adventure when you're first one through for the day. So yeah, chainsaws are advisable if you haven't got one. Anything you've got that can cut trees, because if you come up here and a tree comes down behind you, you could be stuck up here for a while. And last time I checked, no phone service, so if you haven't got a chainsaw, you might want to invest in that, or a sat phone. Now we're getting to the next possible slipperiest section, so see what happens up here. It's rocky underneath, there's not a lot of snow. Haven't had any wheel spin issues at the moment, so pretty confident we should be right, but often famous last words. If I start spinning wheels and getting into bother, then that's where plan B's and whatever. We've got a lot more tide pressure we can let out yet, because we are on about 25. Now when there's plenty of tracks and people around, quite often we go up to the right there, which at the moment I'm going to stick to the main track on the left here. It's quite rocky underneath, I can't imagine there's going to be any issues. Definitely a 4x4 adventure when you haven't got a track to follow, where you can easily go, oh well, they made it, so we'll make it, you know what I mean? That is not the case. We're getting a few traction issues now, so a bit of a lack of traction in places. If you're following my tracks, just don't go too fast, but keep it moving a bit, because I did notice a bit of wheel spin going on. So, but it is rocky underneath, and we can let the tyres down more if there's any dramas. The other two guys have both got winches, so it's all good. Just keep it moving, that's all. Yeah, every time I come near a stop, the backsliding across the left, which is typical for the terrain around here. We're on a section here that's not too steep again, but it's got quite a camber to the side, so you need to be really careful where you are. This is where a lot of people come unstuck. It's you know, too easy along this rocky road section for them, and there's tracks everywhere. You can see where everyone's gone, and they like to go off to the side and play, and that's all good. You can go on the high side, you know, we've been up here on the high side, we've been down on the low side, but if you've got vehicles there, it can pull you out, because it can get a bit more slippery over there on the grass and the mud as well, grass, mud, and depending how, we don't know how much snow's been up here, how much it's been driven on, how much it's packed down, melted and mudded up. At the moment we are driving blind across where we think there's a track on what could be perfect ski slopes. You can see it's just beautiful, look at that, eh? And with the snow it's quite difficult to see. I hope these guys can see my tracks where I've gone. Anyway, this is a cracker trip. We haven't had as much snow from the start as we did on that one called the last, you haven't seen that one yet, Crazy Snow Trip. Just going to listen on the radio.
Yeah, all good, just taking it easy.
All good, yeah. Beautiful. And we're just going to stop up the top here. We've got some nice clean fluff for if anyone wants to have a fluff around on the toboggans. Nobody up here either. Beautiful. Alright, so here we are up Mount Matlock at the fire tower. 3 Prados made it up. You can see a little bit of ice action on the front of them. A little bit of, look at that one, there was a layer of ice and it's just dropped off like a knife. Here we go, kids having a bit of a muck around on the toboggan. More ice. Hey Paul, looks like the Prado's happy. There's the Trig Point. Look at this fresh fluff. All fresh. And if we want to, we can continue on by the back here, but been there, done that. Nice to come up and get some fresh. It's probably only 5 centimetres of fresh stuff on top. And we're just walking on it now, taking a look. Sinking down 5 centimetres, but not breaking through, so maybe a bit more. But something like that. It's packing down about 5, maybe there's closer to 10. Remembering that, yeah, with the wind, that would have been a bit thinner there, because this will block a lot of the snow from the way the wind's blowing. Down these slopes here, probably a bit more. Now, someone's got a special snow melting device to measure the depth, and there it is, probably around 8 centimetres, maybe 10 maximum, packing down to about 5 when you press about 100 kilos on it. And there's Mount Matlock fire tower. Not too many fires going to be happening today. And now we've even got the sun come out. It's a bit, I need to get the sunglasses. Get ready, mate. It's going, it's going, it's going. Now we're going to video this one, see how it goes. Right, you ready? All right, ready, set. Off the cliff he goes. See ya. Last video run of the toboggan run. Stacked it. Here we go. It's snowing again, and away you go off the hills into the trees. Bye. All right, started snowing again, so we're back into the vehicles and moving off to head back down the hill in a bit more snow than when we came up. Could be a bit of fun, and then again we could take a side track. You never know what's going to happen. I'll let you know if there's anything exciting going on. All right, we're on the bit of a side of the hill. It's getting a bit slippery here, bit of action, a few side tracks here that, you know, if you go on those you just get a bit sideways. You can have your fun if you need to. As you can see, you can actually see the track. There's no actual official track when it's covered in snow. There's a couple of side tracks here and there, but you just do need to have your wits about you and be careful, because we can get a bit of side camber, and when people have driven over it, packed it down, it can sort of turn into ice, get slippery, it can melt, it can turn, you know, get some real mud happening underneath there, and quite often people get into trouble up here, sliding off the side, like you can't see at the moment much, but where I'm looking down to the right, on the edge of the tree line where the grass is, you know, they start getting off the side of these tracks. Yeah, they can get into a bit of trouble. Now there is a couple of side tracks that normally I'd drive up and down, but I can't be bothered, to be quite honest, and they're on the left of us, basically heading straight ahead. We're just going to go down the main track that we came up. There's plenty of fun doing that, and the other parts along the road just getting here. We're just doing a nice slow descent. Yeah, it's a little bit rough coming up. You're coming up, we came up a little bit quicker. We were pretty slow, but we had a bit of... Sometimes you got to have a bit of momentum with the unknown, because it's what's going to help you get through when you wouldn't have otherwise got through, if you know what I mean. Constantly as we come down here, over every bump, the vehicle's sliding forwards and to our right with the camber of the hill. So the back's trying to come around on me now, so it's one of those things. There's not much stopping you from going that way, so you want to try and keep your traction on the rocks. It's more about knowing what's under the snow, because if it was mud, quite likely you got to be careful. You don't just go do this anywhere, because you could end up down in that over there on the right there. That's where people often get into trouble, not specifically this spot, and they end up out in washouts off the side there, and it can get dangerous almost off the side of, you know, mountains type stuff. We might actually hook a left turn here and drive up the other side of the hill. I'll have a look at it when I get down there and make a decision whether we can be bothered. Over the hill shortcut. Nice and slow. There was one spot up there, it was a bit rough. I could see vehicles bouncing too much and going off to the right if they went sort of too fast. Bit of snow out here. And it's still snowing. hitting us in the windscreen and all. Can't see where we're going. That's what you call a snow shower. It's going up everywhere. Snow everywhere. Bit of snow. I think this is what you call a freeze. Have a look at this. We need to stop for a while and let all the ice melt so that we can steer the vehicle. It's like an ice block. Let's go and have a look. Inside the wheels, all around the calipers. Every time we change direction, we've got, mate, there's stuff in the way. Let's go underneath and have a look. Have a look at that. Just a little bit. I could feel the tail shaft hitting. Lucky the sun's out, it's all melting off pretty quick now. Look at that, melting off the hot exhaust. Absolutely awesome, check that out. You got the steam coming off the back tyre. Sun's out. Bit of a problem for the snorkel because that's another way to get water in your intake. You can see it's all in the back there as well. We're going to get this off the windscreen wipers so that we can operate the windscreen wipers. Try and get this out of the way. Bring a scraper so you can get your, get your stuff off, Luckily in the sun here, I'd say we could probably set up a time-lapse camera and watch most of this fall off. It's like you don't need to bring any water today. Look at all that ice falling off. Whoa, there you go, good one. We've got some heat going on inside there, so the heat's radiating out, so the ice is just going to drop off. Reminds me of another trip we did one time, solo trip coming back across through the bottom of New South Wales. There it is, all falling off. We're on our own. It wasn't meant to be that much snow, but that's how it turned out. Alright, so you can hear some grindy type noises. It is normal. This is all just falling off. I was standing. Litres and litres of extra weight we're carrying here. Obviously be careful on the roads, there's not really many around, but we do need to be careful. Anyway, we'll let some of it drop off and keep moving. Wondering where all the snow came from. Ah, this is where they make it and store it. Oh, look, there's more over there. And here we are back at the junction. Just to show you the area. The vehicle looks like the ice is defrosted, but of course we're on dirt roads, so we've got a little bit of dirty touring stain going on there. We're just going to pump up the tyres and that's a day. Hope you liked it. Remember to subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss the next adventure, and make sure you've liked and followed all our Facebook pages and groups so that you know what's going on, so you don't miss out on the next free trip. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Quick little bit of bonus information if I edit this properly and it all comes together. If you watch till the end, we're going to give you some info on how to get to where we went and a few little things like that. Shouldn't take too long. So right now we're headed back towards Marysville from the junction, Camberville Junction. So if you want to head up to Mount Matlock, firstly I suggest you don't do it on your own and don't do it if you're inexperienced. It's not, you don't go looking for snow to drive in for your first, second or third sort of day trip, if you know what I mean, your first full drive outings, that sort of thing. You need to get a bit of experience closer to home, and preferably with some people that know what they're doing and give you some tips and pointers. So you want to stay tuned on all our Facebook groups and pages, because randomly this one, it was more of I was putting it up on the Prada Hospital page and our other pages, and I put it in a video saying, look, we're taking Monday off to go check out some snow. It was a last minute notice type thing, which a lot of the time it is, but it was also open to anyone that was happy with that limited amount of information that wanted to turn up at the Beechworth Bakery at Hillsville to join in. Here we go, we've got an oncoming vehicle. I'll just let them know. We've got an oncoming Camry. So basically, yeah, head up to Hillsville, depending where you base, where you start from, but we generally meet up at Hillsville, and the Beechworth Bakery is a reasonable place to make a start, get some breakfast, good place for everybody to meet up, because often some people get there earlier and some people are waiting. And then from there you head up through Narberthong and turn right up towards Lake Mountain. So you go through Marysville, you turn right at the roundabout, you head up the hill, you go straight past the Lake Mountain turn off, unless of course you want to go to Lake Mountain, and you continue along the road, and that's the road we're on right now, but we're heading in the opposite direction because of course we're heading back now, we're heading back towards there. And if I talk long enough and give you enough information, you may even get to the Lake Mountain turn off. So you continue along this road, and that'll take you to that junction, which is also the junction that heads down Reefton. Right, so at the top there, that's where we often park up, and a lot of people do, to air down and pump up the tyres, because about another, what would you say, Mitch, half a K down the road, is it? A K, half a K down the road, turns to dirt road, and although it's pretty good for the first little while, it can get really, there's a lot of potholes and rough road and stuff like that, so you want to be aired down for a bit of comfort for you and the vehicle, mainly, is what it's all about. And then it's quite a drive. I'd say it's about an hour. It all depends on the speed you travel at, what the conditions are like. You need to be very careful. A lot of people drive fast and are not considering what if a vehicle comes the other way. Now, I'm always driving. I'm the first to cut corners, and you know, around town I'll cut roundabouts. If there's two lanes and no one's around, what am I going to wear out my tyres, wear out my brakes, use fuel, which costs money, and the environment, when I can just straight line it through the roundabout? If it's all clear, left, right, back, forward, 12, 6, 9, you know, whatever, every direction's clear, I'm going to cut the roundabout. You might see me do it. I'm going to set the way. I pay my taxes for the road and the fuel excise, and I'm going to use all the road, okay? I can indicate as I change lanes, as I cut through if you like. It's not really going to make any difference because you're nowhere near me. So, that's not what it's about. What it's about is, see there, I just went over the line, I'm cutting the corner, but the funny thing is you don't know. I can go like this on the wrong side of the road because I looked ahead. I've looked hundreds of metres down the road, and I know no vehicles are coming up this section of road. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that, but just be aware, if you see someone else driving like that, they may or may not know what they're doing. So when you come to a left-hander, of course, it's easy to stay on your left, but when often you want to stay on the right, I've got some camber there. I've got some camber that's going to help me, so I actually want to use that, and I can see way down this road. But if you come to a bend, and we're about to come one, so this is Anthony's driving 101 now. Right, if you come to a bend where you can't see what's around the corner, I'm talking more like a right-hand bend. So here, left, we want to be on the left, and we're more likely to catch someone that's coming up on the other side in our lane, right? So we want to be ready to hug it into the left, right into the gutter if we have to. Here we go, we've got oncoming now, right? And we're all good. Everybody's, I'll just let them know again, you got another oncoming. Just let them know, a bit of courtesy, because we can. Gives them the heads up, it's a little bonus, isn't it, right? But see here, you know, we can't see what's happening, so we certainly need to stay on the inside, but be aware. So here, if I cut this corner, again, I can see, so it doesn't matter. But if you're on that side, you always need to be traveling at a speed that you're ready to move back onto the correct side of the road. After all, the other side of the road belongs to the vehicle coming the other way. So I'm regularly cutting lines and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you, that's what I do, and I'm allowed to do that in all the cases that I do that. You don't cross double lines and all that sort of thing. You avoid solid lines where possible. It all depends. But, you know, look, some people just can't drive anyway, and I think most of the people that are still watching and still listening know that. And you may be one of those people, so you need to take extra care. And that doesn't mean you've got someone behind you so you need to drive faster. What that means is, oh, someone's caught up to me really quickly. Well, how about here on the straight section, you just slow down, indicate that you're going to sort of pull over, move to the left to allow them to get past more easily, instead of, oh look, it's a straight section, I can go faster now, which actually makes it harder for people to get past. Anyway, that's a little bit of driving 101. I wasn't planning to spend this much time, but I hope you're finding it valuable info, and you've hit the like button and all that sort of thing, like always. Once you continue on past the Camberville Junction after you've let your tyres down, you continue on. Like I said, it's about an hour, and it's not really that well signposted. You'll go past a lot of track. There's a lot of tracks that are signposted. One of the last ones on the left is, I think it's called Frenchman's, okay? And it's got an orange mark, a bit like that orange thing on the side of the road just there. You know those wooden ones Parks Victoria used? They've been using for, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, maybe longer. There's a lot more of them around these days. Never used to be. They're quite handy. Be good if people don't rip them down. You know, you get all these idiots that have to destroy things and make it hard, you know? It's just wasteful. You know, here you go, talk long enough. There's the Lake Mountain turn off, see? 10 k's up to Lake Mountain. We're probably about 10 k's down to Marysville now. That's where you would have turned left if you were heading from where we're headed now, from Marysville, to go up to Lake Mountain, but we continue straight through. Check the road conditions, because we've been up here where, guess what, this is all covered in snow. All the way along here, there's vehicles sliding around and making no progress. You need to have a four-wheel drive. You need to have decent tread depth on your tyres. You really need to have a decent amount of tread, like the newer the better, and I mean it when I say that. When it comes to snow or mud, new tyres, or near new, at least 80%, are far superior to a 50% worn tyre, and anything below 50%, good luck. I actually came up, look, they do well if they're like the BFGs, they do well anyway, but they're not going to do the job anywhere near as good as a new tyre. So we're meant to tell you how to get there, right? So continue on. It is hard to, there's a waterfall on the side of the road, and you may have seen the photo in this video, and if you didn't see it and you fast forward it, go back and watch the video again, because somewhere after that Frenchman's sign, you'll see the waterfall, and you know you're getting close. Drive carefully, lots of potholes, lots of people going the other way, and there's lots of people that didn't see this video, and lots of people that don't think, and they're driving way too fast, and they come like this, and they're like this on the wrong side of the road, and you come around the bend, and I did that because I checked ahead, sort of thing. But generally what I find is people going wide on left-handers, they're out here, there's no need for it, right? They're going around out here. What are you doing, mate? They're always best. And look, oh what, there's some washouts and corrugations, that's fine. So be out here like this, right? Be out here, but go, I'm in the middle of the road now, by the way. Be out here and be ready to, look, I've corrected it anyway, because it's easy to be on the correct side of the road before you get there, but be ready to hook it left and get in tight on the left to get out of any oncoming vehicles. There's been too many head-ons. We needed to talk about it, so I thought I'd throw it in at the end. Hopefully people watched it. If you watched till the end, say, yeah, I was wondering why the video went for so long, so I did stick around and it was worthwhile. Or say, you know what, you talk too much. I don't mind, just I'm open to the feedback, so put it up there. I think it's good information. Anyway, you'll see the left turn shortly afterwards. It's not signed, well, there is a sign actually, but I don't want to promise you that because it's going to be ripped down. People like to rip signs down and this sort of thing. It's kind of one where you turn left and the track follows along the side of the road. So if you follow the proper track, you go around a bend slightly to the right, you see this track sort of going up a hill a little bit, just a short one, like 10-15 metres. And you continue along and you see the track running along the side of the road, and that's where you turn in. And it's going to be called, it's the track up to Matlock. You just need to be looking on your map to see the hill, the fire tower, right? You're going to see it on the map. So it's going to be right near there. There's two ways up. There's one on the close side of the hill where you came from, which is pretty good, but the main one, you know, you just go around the mountain a little bit further, extra 2-3 minutes, and this is the one I'm trying to describe to you. Maybe it's a bit more fun going up, it's more straightforward. Most people go that way, but I've been both ways, of course, and there's lots of other little tracks around. Anyway, you get up to the fire tower, you can have a look around and call it a day, have a bit of a play in the snow, or you can continue along further than there, along to Cornhill or anywhere you like, and it gets complicated, so we're going to leave the details at that. And then obviously same heading back, you know, you're going to head back in the opposite direction. That's what we've done today. Aired up at Camberville. We're just heading back down to Marysville, and we're going to head back through the Black Spur, through to Hillsville, and then obviously depending where people live. So in case you didn't know, depending where you do live, you may come out Maroondah Highway from the city area, or if you're in the northern suburbs or the western suburbs, or coming from the other side of town, you'll be better off to be out on the ring road. So you want to get yourself onto the ring road, and you go through Diamond Creek, and you turn right at the roundabout, and you cut through to Kangaroo Ground. You got to turn right at the correct roundabout. So I'm not giving you directions all the way, but give you a general idea. Kangaroo Ground, and then you cut your way across to Yarra Glen, and Yarra Glen to Hillsville. That's your quick way to go. We get from the northwest side of town to Hillsville in just over an hour without too many traffic delays. Anyway guys, hope you liked that extra about 10 minutes of information, how to drive right. Want to keep everyone safe and just try and share some of that information. Always best to drive on the correct side of the road where you can, but quite often it can be safer to cut the corners. As I said, using that camber on the road in some places helps keep you safe, because on that right-hander, you know, on the wrong side, on the inside, you've got an awesome camber, but up on your side it might be really flat, which means, yeah, you just got to slow down. Got a bit of a nice lookout over there on the right. Anyway, I'm out of here. Too much chit-chat. See ya.